All right, good afternoon, fastball fans, and welcome back to the 2019 ISC World Tournament here at the Circle Top Bar and Grill, Denmark, Wisconsin. This afternoon's game features the Shakespeare Falcons taking on the defending champions, the New York Gremlins, and winners bracket action here on the ISC Network. I'm Blair Setford. We're going to have a couple of rotating guests here this afternoon. For the Shakespeare Falcons, leading off, it is shortstop Ryan Shannon. He'll be followed by Jamie Wick, then Matt McLaren, Rob Fallhofer, Wade Lamourant, Tyson Zare, Will Fairman, Trevor Glab for the Falcons, and the 9-batter Jeff Clemens. Set the defense for, as you see, it's Andrew Kirkpatrick out on the board for the Gremlins. And this one is reached out and poked right out to right field, and that is a base hit for Ryan Shannon, just reaching across the plate and right through the 3.5 hole for a leadoff single. Kirkpatrick working to Brian Avery, left to right across the outfield. Campbell Anoka, Ben Anoka, Zenon Winters, Jerome Remeke, Nick Mullins, Ladislav Malarzouk, and Matt Palazzo on the infield. Jamie Wick up to the plate for the Falcons, showing bunt pretty early in the game for that. Again, and gets a called strike. And he gets the bunt down, picked up by Palazzo. Little quick flip to Malarzouk. And 3-4 on the sacrifice bunt. Good job by Jamie Wick.
Left fielder, number 42, Matt McLaren.
So that'll bring up Matt Chewy McLaren for the Falcons. The Gremlins and the Falcons have seen a lot of each other over the years. The Gremlins playing in a lot of the Ontario tournaments like the Cephas Roth and the Mitchell North American tournament, the Hallman Twins Memorial, or the Hallman Memorial rather, the Chiefs Challenge when they've had those. So the Gremlins, frequent visitors to Ontario, and the Falcons, a mainstay on the Ontario tournament circuit. Pours in a strike. Kirkpatrick, last year's top pitcher. And big swing and a miss. Tied up McLaren and Knotts there. Again, if you're just getting in with us on the ISC Network, Blair Setford, and we're going to have a rotating cast of guests here this afternoon for this one. Kirkpatrick just misses on the inside corner. Turns up the dials a little bit, blows it right past McLaren on the outside corner. So that'll bring up cleanup hitter and catcher Rob Fallhofer for the Falcons. Called strike on the inside corner. Fallhofer away from the game for about a year and a half or so. Had an industrial accident and needed a fair bit of time to recover from that. Very serious accident at the time. This one down and in ties him up in knots. But good to see Robbie Fallhofer back out on the field. Swing and a miss. Down goes Fallhofer. You saw Kirkpatrick stumble and almost go down. That happens frequently. Don't be too alarmed. They strand one. We're going to have the Gremlins coming to the plate for the home half. Stay with us. So Kirk Santala will finish the last of his warm-up pitches for the Shakespeare Falcons as they'll take the field the bottom of the first inning with the New York Gremlins coming to the plate, and a very formidable lineup, if a little bit different looking today from the New York Gremlins, as second baseman Ladislav Malarczuk will lead things off for the Gremlins. He'll be followed by Jerome Remeke. Ben Anoka, Andrew Kirkpatrick will bat for himself. Zenon Winters, Matt Palazzo, Brian Avery, Campbell Anoka, who is in left field today, and Nick Mullins playing shortstop. As first pitch swinging goes Malarczuk. For the Falcons, Santala working to Rob Fallhofer. In the outfield, left to right, it's Matt McLaren, Jeff Clemens, and Trevor Glab. Around the horn, Jamie Wick, Ryan Shannon, Tyson Zare, Will Fairman out at first base. And Kirk Santala to Robbie Fallhofer, as we said. Wade Lamarant is the designated player for the Falcons. Malarczuk, of course, winning the WBSC World Championship, as well as the Pan Am Games gold medal with Team Argentina. So he's already got a pair of gold medals in his pocket, looking to add an ISC World Championship to the 2019 trophy case. Santala just came off of the U23 Canadian men's or junior men's championship up in Saskatoon with the Owen Sound Select Squad. Bit of a disappointing finish for Owen Sound. They were the defending champions, but off the medal stand this year. It is so hard to win that junior men's championship. We do want to congratulate New Hamburg Mustangs who won it this year. Malarczuk fouls this one off out of play down the left side. Our umpires for this one, Steve Fitzsimmons behind the plate. Out at first, it's Gary Johnson. And on the third base side, it's Glenn Brown. Misses downstairs. So a leadoff walk issued by Kirk Santala to Ladislav Malarczuk.
Third baseman, number
And
6, Jerome Remeke.
That's never a good sign, walking the leadoff batter. Especially not when you've got to deal with a lineup like the Gremlins have put together here. Greg Leather and his cast of characters on the coaching crew, including Var Matosian, who is going to be up here in the 6 o'clock hour. Sorry, I apologize, but yeah, Varm will be with us. He will entertain with Kyle Smith, I'm sure. But the Gremlins have just put together an absolutely great team. Just an enormous hitting lineup. Long time in between pitches for Santala. And it gets a called strike down low. Crowd didn't like that one. Benny Anoka waits on deck. 2 balls, 1 strike to Remeke. And now 3-1. We're on to the second set of games today. And there's the second straight walk issued by Santala. And this is occasionally something you run into with Kirk Santala, where he's around the plate, but he's not getting enough of it to get the calls. And he will run into a walks problem from time to time. The thing is, you can't do that against this lineup. There's just too many good sticks. And when you guys free passes, they do tend to come around and score in bunches. There's a called strike. Ben Anoka, always in the conversation for who is the best player in softball, among the best. Nick Shales, of course, Bradley Ezekiel in that conversation, Benny Anoka right there. Bruno Matroni, one of the best hitters, certainly in the game right now. They're going to go to third to get one. You will not get Benny Anoka on the double up there, but that's a good play by shortstop Ryan Shannon to turn and flip to third to erase that lead runner in the form of Mallerzuk.
Number 23, Andrew Kirkpatrick.
So with Anoka aboard on the fielder's choice, Remeke up to second base on the play. And you talk about a throwback in the game. Back in the day when pitchers also batted, and typically they batted in the 4 spot, and they could win their own game 1-0. Here's one of those throwback Thursday type of guys, Andrew Kirkpatrick, who is as dangerous a 4-hitter as anybody here in this tournament. And just misses outside. This is our second of 4 broadcasts today. We've got the Kitchener-Hallman Twins coming up with the Durham Diamondbacks. That one is just after opening ceremonies. We'll try and bring you opening ceremonies as well at 5 o'clock. Central Time, of course. And then the late show is the Bear Bottom Lodge squad, and they're taking on our international team, the University Ad from Buenos Aires. Just misses outside. A lot of nibbling right now by Santala. We see this a lot where you're matched up against one of the top 1 or 2 teams in the tournament, and you don't want to just give in and come down the middle, but you do have to throw some strikes eventually. Here's a little flare up on the infield, and coming across, cutting in front of shortstop is Jamie Wick. Ryan Shannon literally had to back off as Wick come across to his left and hauled that one in. So that's a big out for Santala to get Kirkpatrick to pop up on the infield like that. That'll bring up Zenon Winters. We forget how long Zenon's been in the game. One of the last players who played for the farm team in their final season back in 2009. 10 years later, here we are, Zenon Winters still out in the field, still battling. Robbie Schweier, I think, was also part of that team that year. He's still out there battling with J&B from California. But not too many others that I can think of that were on that farm team back in 2009 still in the game. This one bounced in, gets away from Fallhofer, move everybody up 60 feet. So a couple of runners now in scoring position. The Gremlins would have just watched arch rivals Hill United Chiefs in a bit of a seesaw battle with the Coburg DRC team. It ended up a 16-4 final, but in a bit of a surprise, the Coburg DRC team put up a 4 spot on Adam Folkert in the 3rd inning and made it, at the time, a 6-4 ball game. The Chiefs answered right back and piled on 10 in the bottom of the inning. And that was the final result, a 16-4 win for Hill United. So with the walk to Zenon Winters, that brings up Matt Palazzo. And there may be nobody hotter in the game right now than Matt Palazzo. He's coming off leading Team USA to a silver medal at the Pan Am Games, all over the top of the batting charts. Home runs, RBIs, batting average. Palazzo doing it all for the red, white, and blue down in Lima. missing outside, but it's hard to go after a pitch. You know, you're not getting anything from Santala right now really to go after. But he's really worked himself into a jam here with the bases loaded, despite a good defensive play by Ryan Shannon to get one out in the inning. Already 3 walks, a fielder's choice, and an infield fly. And a called strike on the inside corner. Palazzo had a bit of a notion to go after that, but decided it was going to be difficult to turn on that pitch as it was already inside and just let it go. The full count, 2 out, got to come. Palazzo hard two-hopper, but snared nicely by Tyson Zare out at second base. The Gremlins will lead the bases loaded, and we will be scoreless through 1 complete. Shakespeare Falcons coming up, top of 2. Stay with us. So Wade Lamarant, new player to the Shakespeare Falcons lineup, will come on as the designated player in the 5 spot for the Falcons. And goes after that one. Nice play over there by Nick Mullins. Stuck the glove out, got it on the short hop, and then the good throw to get Wade Lamarant. And Nick Mullins, who does a lot of catching, but we forget how adept he is at Joe Todd out there playing shortstop as well.
Yeah, great range out there by Nick Mullins. Covers a lot of area.
Tyson Zare, who made that nice play to end the bottom of the first inning. And Joe, down the right field line, warming up is Kirk Santala. I guess you didn't throw enough pitches, but I don't think you warmed up very well because he came out and threw a lot of balls, not many strikes. So just trying to get a little bit more loose and figure out if you can find the strike zone. You don't really see that too often. Finish the inning and go throw some more. Tyson Zare chases upstairs from Andrew Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick, as he always does, Joe looks nice and loose.
Very fluid motion out there.
Despite occasionally falling over.
Yes. Still does that. It's almost been a trademark.
I think it is for Cheese at this point. Andrew Kirkpatrick acquired the nickname Cheese, I want to say way back in '02 in his very first World Tournament appearance with the Owen Sound Crunch all the way back 16, 17 years ago, whatever that is now. Here's a little one hopper up in the infield. Palazzo will come in, make sure that stays fair, and tag Tyson Zare. So 3 unassisted in your scorebook, and that will bring up Will Fairman.
Nice pitch there by Andrew Kirkpatrick. Just trying to throw off the timing of young Tyson's there. Just change the speed a little bit. So, Joe, a couple of scores
Already games completed, as we talked about. Hill United Chiefs 16-4 winners over Coburg Dirt Road. Kitchener-Hallman Cubs 8-1 over the Rice Lake Orangemen. On the go right now, Fargo Kiko Black Knights. They are up 2-0 on the Rio Grande Senators. And Waterdown Hammer and J&B Bombers tied at 2. That one in the bottom of the second inning. Fouled right back into the screen by Fairman. Will Fairman's got a lot of experience, Joe. He is a role player with some of those Jarvis teams going back 2010, 2011 days. And with the Twins as well, but overmatched there as Kirkpatrick reaches back, blows that one right by him. 3 up, 3 down for the Falcons in the second inning. Still scoreless, going to the bottom of the 2. Stay with us. Canada's Brian Avery will lead off for the New York Gremlins here. Bottom of the second inning, Avery, Campbell Anoka, and Nick Mullins. A Canadian, a Kiwi, and an American, Joe. Did they walk into a bar?
Yeah. Sounds like a start of a joke to me.
Well, it's no joke when you've got to face them on the mound. 3 national team players, 7, 8, 9 for the New York Gremlins. You're wondering why Matty Waugh is not in the lineup for the Gremlins. A little tight this morning when he woke up. Wanted an extra day to get loose. Didn't want to risk pulling anything. Matty very in tune with the body, and if he's unable to go, it's for a reason. You know, it's not. It's not for a hangover.
No.
Called strike. Santala behind again, 3-1 in the count to Brian Avery leading things off for the Gremlins. It's scoreless in the bottom of the second inning. And, well, the scoreboard had 3-1. It must be 3-1 now, I guess. That's in tight. Fallhofer wants him to ask, but Fitzsimmons looks a little reluctant to do so and declines ultimately to check. I didn't think he went around at all, do you?
No, I don't think so. He didn't go far enough anyway. He has slight inclination, but he held it back.
So Campbell Anoka up at the plate. The youngest of the 3 Anoka brothers, and this one right off the heel of Santala. And a fortunate bounce there for Santal as it ricocheted right to Tyson Zare, and they were able to get Campbell Anoka. That was a hard hit ball, though, right off the. You can see right there as Kirk Santala pointed basically to the bottom of his shoe.
Yeah.
Said, "No, I'm good," but hard hit ball right back up the middle and a lucky bounce.
Shortstop.
Trying to be a little goaltender out there right now.
So 1-4-3. Not the type of putout you would like. Nick Mullins, who looks just like a changed man, Joe Todd. I saw Nick back in July. He's dropped, I want to say, at least 30 pounds, maybe more. He looks slim and trim like a lightweight out there.
Yes.
Maybe a bantamweight even.
Yeah, he's dropped a lot of weight. Got himself in real good condition.
Multi-positional athlete, as we talked about, playing short today. Does a lot of catching for the Gremlins and Team USA. Was a baseball catcher in D1 college. University of Pittsburgh, I believe, back in his college days, NCAA. This one is lifted foul down the left side.
Good quick turn of the hands there by Nick Mullins. Good bat speed, good follow through right there. Pulled it though down that line.
That one hit Mullins on the foot on the way through. Couldn't jackknife out of the way. So on base the hard way. And we will go back to the top of the shop for Ladislaw Malarchuk. Malarchuk walked and erased on the force, ultimately at third base the last time through. But again, Santala's worked himself into a jam, Joe, with a walk and now a hit by pitch. And like you said earlier today, you just can't defense that.
Yeah, you can't create scenarios like that to put yourself in a hole that's just putting that much more pressure on your defense. Have to throw strikes and hope that your defense can back you up.
And missing again, so 2-0 and well behind again in the count. And that one is past a diving Jamie Wick at third. Abry will score easily for the game's opening run. Another leadoff walk. Joe comes around to score. Give Malarchuk an RBI.
Third baseman, number 6, Jerome Raymaki.
Well, Malarchuk just took that pitch on the outside portion of that plate and just rode with that pitch that Santella gave him. Had a big hole going down that opposite way for Malarchuk, but he was willing to take that pitch and brought in that first run of the game. Picked up the RBI. Good, smart leadoff batter.
Var Matosian shows you why he's coaching and not playing. As two-hopper with a bow on it hits him in the hands and immediately falls into the dust.
And he's right now probably taking
some grief from a photographer, Nick Fisher, over there. Yeah. Thanks for protecting me, Coach. Appreciate that.
We're waiting for the duck to fly on the field, or the goose, or...
I wonder if somebody brought a duck for Varm this year. Of course, if you saw last year's ISC Championship game, we had a foul visitor as a duck got onto the field, had a little break in the action, and Varm from his first base coach's box gave chase. Thought maybe he was going to have duck à l'orange for dinner, but it didn't happen.
It was certainly a highlight of the championship game.
Ramaki in and out of the glove of shortstop Ryan Shannon. Mullins will speed around to score, and Ramaki hustling all the way, sliding into second with a double. Hard shot right in and out of the glove of Ryan Shannon. Joe Todd, that's a base hit in my mind.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah, Ramaki got a lot of that ball. Good upper body strength there by Ramaki. And driving it past that infielder.
So 2-0 for the Gremlins, and threatening to get more with the very dangerous Ben Anoka at the plate. Runners on second and third. Malazuk up to third on the play. Ramaki at second. And Anoka will lift this one out to right. McLaren will go back. It goes off the top of that 16-foot fence. Anoka will trot into second base, and Malazuk and Remeke will both come around to score easily and give Ben Anoka a 2 RBI double as the New York Gremlins now extend that lead to 4-0 and bringing up Andrew Kirkpatrick, the 4-batter.
Good power hit there by Ben Anoka, driving that ball again the opposite way. So that 16-foot fence was just like a barrier there for Anoka.
Well, it saved it saved the Falcons the extra run so far, because that's a home run most nights. But that one hit right off the top of the fence. Santala misses down and away to Kirkpatrick.
Matt McLaren playing out in right field right now.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if him and Trevor switch positions.
They may have. Yeah, you're right. This one is laced
Foul.
foul down the right side. We've got a great view of that foul line from our position where we are. We're on the third base side, but we look right down that first base foul line, and that just missed, kicking up some chalk.
Great turn of the hands.
The body and everything else.
Yeah.
He was fully committed to that one.
Andrew has really worked on his hitting the past couple of years. Not easy hitting and pitching at this level.
Called a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down in the inning. Ben Anoka out at second base. He's got a pair of RBIs with that double. And just missing on the outside corner. It was the Anoka double that made it 4-0 for the Gremlins. Here in the bottom of the second inning. Second round of games today, or second cycle of games today in the 2019 ISC World Tournament. Day 2. And ball 4, Kirkpatrick aboard with the walk.
Right fielder, number 53, Zenon Winters.
5 walks and a hit by pitch. We're only in the bottom of the second, Joe, with 1 out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of extra base runners.
Well, that's probably a good reason why there's 4 runs put on the board right there. Especially against a good offensive team like the Gremlins.
Outside corner called a strike on Zenon Winters. It's tough to be in this spot here. If you're Zenon Winters, you've spent the North American summer not playing, and then you're coming in and dropped right into the middle of this hard-hitting lineup. And this one is skied to center. They're going to make a feeble attempt to get Benny Anoka at third, but that's only 4 strides for Benny to go from second to third in full flight. So he easily advances. Zenon Winters flies out to center, and that'll bring up Matt Palazzo. Hit it hard, but he hit it right at Tyson Zare with the bases loaded to end the bottom of the first inning. And we talked about, Joe, he comes in on a roll all over the top of the score sheets for Team USA at the Pan Ams. Called a strike the bottom side of the zone. Palazzo, a little bit of a grin.
Palazzo missed the first game in Prague. Showed up for that second game. He was a leadoff batter in that second game and hit second pitch he faced out of the park.
Well, if you remember back to last year in the ISC Championship game, it was Matt Palazzo who was called on to pinch hit and came off the bench and ended the game with a 2-run walk-off in the bottom of the 6th inning to get to the 7-run mercy rule. And I asked Matt about it afterwards, as this one is lifted up and out of play here. We might have a play on this one behind us, Joe. No, it hits the fence behind us. And I said to Matt, I said, how confident were you going in there? Because it didn't look like you were swinging for anything but a home run. And he said, I told the fellows behind me, I said, put your gloves away. We're done. I'm walking this off.
Very professional hitter.
This one off the toe. Those hurt.
Yes.
Those hurt.
They sting and burn.
Yeah. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Benny Anoka is at third. Andrew Kirkpatrick is at second. And Palazzo is at the plate. Gremlins already with 4 in this inning. They lead 4-0. And downstairs, so from 1-2 to 3-2.
Santella trying to be very careful, but now he's put himself in a situation where he has to come right at Palazzo. Yes, first base is open, but you don't really want another runner at this stage of the inning.
So Varmatosian, after fumbling the last one, just gets out of the way of this one as it's fouled down the right side. Just misses upstairs. That looked like a pretty decent pitch, Joe, but ball 4 nonetheless. So we'll have a bat around inning for the Gremlins as Brian Avery will come out for his second appearance this inning.
33, Brian Avery.
Avery started all this with that walk.
And how often have we seen that, Joe, over the years? 6 walks now with a hit batter thrown in for good measure. Out of play down the right side this time. And we know Santala's a good pitcher too. He's got a lot of success at the U23 level. He was the top pitcher at the Canada East U23 tournament that we had back in Ingersoll earlier this year.
He's got a great stature and physique for a pitcher. I love the height. I love the long legs, the longer arms.
Yeah.
Got a great release.
He's a big, tall kid. I got to stand beside him and presented him the award, and I had to look up at him. So bases loaded for the Gremlins. 2-1 pitch. Skips in, and Robbie Fallhofer, as he often does, taking a beating back there for the Falcons. Oh, my goodness. And Jimmy Wanna this morning said, I don't know why you'd ever want to be a catcher. The dumbest position in baseball.
I looked back and had a quick look at Patty Shannon.
I had a look at Ryan Boland at the same time.
And Patty was just laughing.
Yeah, Boland just kind of rolled his eyes. But ball 4 and an uncontested run. Benny Anoka will come in and tap the plate for the Gremlins' 5th run.
Left fielder, number 28, Campbell Enoka.
It's hard enough to play and compete with the top team, but when you don't give yourself a chance, it's just exceedingly difficult. The pitch was inside, and when you're not consistently hitting the strike zone, you're not going to get the close call either.
Exactly, yeah. Jeremy Croft down the right field line, getting some more pitches for the Shakespeare Falcons.
There's a called strike.
We talked about that in our earlier game. There's just no defense for a walk. So somehow you got to let that ball come into the strike zone eventually and hope that your defense can help you.
Well, this is one of the few times Santala has worked ahead of a batter. He's got.
Well, he did that a couple of times and then fallen back. And then he's almost leery. Like
I think the count's 1-2. Scoreboard's got it 2-1, but I thought it was 1-2. Hard one hopper right into the glove of Jamie Wick. That'll put an end to that. But the Gremlins will score 5. They'll leave a couple of runners aboard. It is 5-0 for the Gremlins. We'll go to the top of the third. Stay with us here on the ISC Network. Trevor Glab steps in for the Shakespeare Falcons. Trevor noted on the card in right field, but he's switched over to left. He and Matt McLaren have traded spots in the outfield. And Joe, watch how quickly Andrew Kirkpatrick works now. He's got that 5-run cushion. He'll get the ball, get back on the board. He'll throw a lot of strikes, and he'll just work very quickly.
Well, and your infielders and your outfielders love that part of the game. When that pitcher can get into a routine, speeds up not only their game, but it keeps them more involved in the game from a mental standpoint. You're more prepared if that ball does come.
I always preferred a guy who was throwing quick as opposed to somebody who was just taking a lot of time in between pitches.
Number 11, Jeff Clemens.
So a Glab down on strikes. That'll bring up center fielder Jeff Clemens. Jeff's in the 9 spot today for the Falcons. Real crouched stance. Been a fair bit of turnover on this Falcons team, Joe. They have kept their program going by adding some younger players. They've got, you said Jeremy Croft warming up down in the bullpen, another young pitcher. And for years and years, this team was carried by Fred Fallings and Nick Lorette.
Tyson's there, another name.
Tyson's there, yeah. Fred Fallings is down coaching first, but
Santella.
Kirk Santala has carried a lot of the load for the Falcons the last couple of years in tournaments. Poke fouled on the left side. You can see Clemens just trying to get the bat into the zone and hoping Kirkpatrick will hit it. Inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Clemens at the plate. The Gremlins are out in front, 5-0. Kirkpatrick, blessedly, working very quickly. Foul back to the screen. Good at bat here by the 9 guy.
Yep.
He's fouled off a couple of pitches. Hanging in there, battling.
Good plate appearance here. Good little battle going on. Jeff Clemens is a tough out.
tied up in knots there. That inside pitch, can't do anything with that. And down on strikes. That'll bring up Jamie Wick. No, it'll bring up Ryan Shannon. My bad.
Shortstop, number 4, Ryan Shannon.
5th strikeout of the day for Andrew.
Shanahan, if you remember, took the second pitch of the game and laced it right back through there, but it was a lot harder the last time around. This time it's an easy flip for Kirkpatrick. 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the home half. Gremlins out in front, 5-0. Stay with us. Nick Mullins to lead off for the New York Gremlins, home half of the 3rd inning. Gremlins sent 11 guys to the plate in the 2nd. Picked up the 5 runs. And Mullins goes after the first pitch here. This one is well hit to the left, but settling under that is Trevor Glab, and he will make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Second baseman, number 24.
So that'll bring up Ladislav Malazuk for his 3rd plate appearance of the game. A walk and a single. Santella finally looks a little bit more relaxed out there now, Joe.
Yeah, maybe, again, is this his 2nd World Tournament?
Oh, at least.
He played in junior.
Well, he was in the World Tournament last year because the 3 Cheers team played the Falcons last year and he pitched.
Yeah. Yes. So I guess he shouldn't be at the jitter level, but maybe against this level of team, too. Facing, obviously, one of the premier teams in this tournament.
Hard one hopper. Shannon picks that up, and he'll toss to first for the 2nd out of the inning.
Third baseman, number 6, Jerome Raymaki.
So Jerome Ramaki will step in. Romy hit the ball real hard last time. Off the glove of Ryan Shannon. Ended up with a double out of it. Big cut there, comes up empty.
Yeah, he needs to keep his head down a little longer. Need to stay with that pitch. Santella took a little bit off that pitch. Good pitch selection, good call there by catcher Rob Faulhofer. They love to play Dukes of Hazzard around here.
Oh, Tyson Zare gets down on one knee and kicks save it a beauty. And a 1-2-3 inning for Santella and the Falcons. anything at the plate. Coming up, we'll go to the top of the fourth. Stay with us. Gremlins out in front, 5-0. So we're waiting on a batter here for the Shakespeare Falcons. Jamie Wick finds the batter.
Leading off for the
Helmet that he was
Falcons, the
flipping.
third baseman, Jamie
Takes it
Wiki.
down to Greg Leather is going to come down. Some change out here in the Greg's. Forgotten to make. See what the umpire has to say here. 53 out is Zennon Winters.
One.
And
Sure.
Jared Christensen.
53 was Z in right field.
So Jared Christensen is
Yeah.
out in right. He'll get to pick this one up. First pitch swinging goes Jamie Wick and punches this one out to right field.
Left fielder, number 42, Matt McLaren.
I'll bring up Matt Chewy McLaren. Chewy got him a little bit, but it seemed like Cheats turned up the heat a little bit on Chewy the last time he threw. Matt, one of the ISC player reps here in the Canada East region, on the move and out. At second base, Jimmy Wick stealing on Brian Avery. Big move there by Avery. Right on the ball waiting. Slid in.
Wick got a pretty good jump off the plate, so good arm by Avery to catch that still in that downward slouch position.
Big one hopper to Mallard Zook, gonna come across, flip to Palazzo at first, and behind the bag. So nice defensive range by Ladislaw Mallard Zook. We will get down to Rob Fallhofer.
Catcher, number 9, Rob Fallhofer.
So in two pitches, you go from a leadoff single to 2 out and nobody on.
Certainly does flip-flop the inning pretty quick.
I like the aggressiveness, but at the same time, you need some runners aboard. So
Jamie Wick is one of their quicker athletes too, so guess they're out there challenging, trying to contest and see what Brian Avery's at the top of his game, and he was.
called strike 3, Fallhofer. Bit of disbelief. Another 1-2-3 inning, somewhat unconventionally for the Gremlins. They still lead 5-0. We'll head to the home half of the fourth. Stay with us on the ISC Network. Beninoka will get things going for the New York Gremlins here at the top of the fourth inning. Benny had that opposite field double off the top of the fence that scored a pair in the second. New York Gremlins out in front 5-0. Upstairs from Kirk Santella. It looks like he's finally got a little bit of zip on the ball now, Joe.
Yeah, he's got a lot more pepper coming in. Just trying to figure out what took so long for him to get to that level. Sometimes you're just not warming up properly. I know I guess it's not a morning game anyway. It's a late afternoon game now. Sometimes your body has to adjust, but oh.
Flare this one out past the outstretched glove of Tyson Zare. And Benny board with another base hit. Fielder's choice of double on the board all 3 times. Another day at the office for Beninoka.
Well, Beninoka just took whatever the pitcher gave him there. Santella gave him a pitch on that outside part of the plate. Anoka saw it, drove it. He's standing at first base. Just a great performance there by Beninoka to show that you just don't have to clobber the ball all over the ballpark. Take what the pitcher gives you, and you're going to find yourself on base. Find a hole.
Kirkpatrick, here's a little flare. Coming in is center fielder Jeff Clemens, and then wants to zip it back to first base. Beninoka retreats. Andrew Kirkpatrick, a lot of line to Clemens.
Right fielder number 1, Jenner Christensen.
Jenner Christensen is on for set of pitchers. Christensen's in a tough spot. He doesn't get a ton of at-bats in the tournament. He is a very good shortstop, but with Andrew Kirkpatrick pitching and acting as a designated player, it's often Jenner who ends up in the flex spot, not hitting. But there's a hot shot. Off balance, Ryan Shannon can't make the throw. Tough one for Ryan Shannon over there. Had it in his glove, but then just leaned back on his heels. And I think you got to give that an error. That's a play from Ryan Shannon.
First baseman number 4, Matt Palazzo.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it should be marked as an error.
Up the second on the play. Palazzo. Another ground ball that just gets through Tyson's there. And this Beninoka will trot into the 6th run. You know, we talked about this in the previous. You can't make miscues.
Catcher number 33, Ryan Avery.
Right now, the Shakespeare Falcons didn't and they don't make a play.
Tyson Zare played that off to his side. Should have shuffled his feet a little bit more. Got the ball in front of him, so if it does miss his glove, it's going to bounce off his chest and stay in front of him, keeping that run still at third base.
Stairs to Ryan, a pair of walks, a run scored. Building to a nice crowd for evening games coming up.
Robbie took a full year off a year ago. Tried to recuperate from a work injury, and then.
I talked about that. That was a very serious industrial injury.
Yep.
Scares Avery walks for the third time today.
Left fielder Campbell Enoka.
8 walks in the pitch, Joe.
No. No.
Campbell and Oka had that ricochet shot back off the middle off the heel of Santala. Was put out. Fielder's choice. This one is lifted deep left center field. Gone! 3-run home run for Campbell and Oka. Jenner Christensen, Matt Palazzo, and Brian Avery. Oh, that's a grand slam.
Grand Slam.
Grand slam.
Yeah.
I take it back. Campbell and Oka. A big fly. And 4 RBIs for him.
Oh, a game? No, it's not.
Something happened with.
No, it's not game. They thought it was a mercy at the 10, but it's.
No, it's 12 after 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure why everybody was leaving the bench. Does that maybe harm something? Greg Leather is going to bench a bit to give Carl Golan in it back here. Carl Golan, a former MVP in this tournament, Joe, back in 2006, was it, or 7?
7. Yeah, 7.
Green Trust here says.
Pinch hitting for the
That's
Gremlins.
the second grand slam.
Number
for
21,
Art
Carl
Johnson
Golan.
in the previous game, and now Campbell and Oka.
Again, just during even that plate appearance there by Campbell and Oka, you talked about the walks and the hit batsmen, all that coming back to haunt Kirk Santella and the Shakespeare Falcons. You make one mistake then against a good hitting team like this, and the scoreboard just gets growing hugely quickly.
This one off the glove of Shannon, base hit for Carl Golan, and Shannon was trying to range over to his right and couldn't track it down. So Golan aboard with the base hit, and Jeremy Croft again down throwing, but if you weren't going to bring him in when it was 6-0,
Now, yeah, I guess he's warming up for the next game, which will probably be somewhere on the schedule tomorrow, I would presume.
Tyler Zook hammers this one right back up the middle. Going up at 60 feet. Another bat around inning
Third
for
baseman, number 6,
the Gremlins
Jerome
as
Rainaki.
right back up to the plate. He's hit the ball hard. Two of his plate appearances. The third one he walked.
I believe we are going to see Jeremy Croft.
So a pitching change. The Gremlins out in front 10-0 now at this point. Jeremy Croft will come on in relief of Kirk Santala. Very rough outing for the youngster. He'll be back. So will we. Stay with us.
Jeremy Croft now facing. Jeremy Remacki now at the plate. Real long inning here for Shakespeare Falcons. Remacki taking that ball the other way down that line.
Caught
By the left fielder, Trevor Glab, for the second out of the inning. Runner still first and second now with 2 out. Ben Anoka still at the plate now. Ben had that big double with an RBI and scored back in that third inning.
Well, Benny just had that little flare for a single at the beginning of this inning, too. So 5 in the second, 5 in the fourth for the Gremlins. It is all New York right now.
Bananoka hit the ball down the third baseline to Jamie Wick. Wick stepping on the bag for the forced play for the third out of the inning. Bananoka getting on base if you're scoring at home with a fielder's choice. So at the conclusion of the fourth inning, it's 10-0 for the New York Gremlins over the Shakespeare Falcons. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So still Andrew Kirkpatrick on the board for the New York Gremlins. Joe Tom, we were just wondering what you give Max Montero or Juan Podolicio, but they have thrown a lot with the Pan Ams and everything, and Kirkpatrick actually has been waiting for that tournament to end so he can go pitch some more. He has thrown a little bit. The Gremlins continued to play while the Argentine players were away. This one right back up the middle. Mullins will come across, snap throw, and they get Wade Lamarant at first base. So
great
took
play.
a good play to get him.
Great play by Nick Mullins. Great transfer of the ball from the glove up to the arm and over. That transfer is so important in that play.
He's made a couple of good plays there to get Wade Lamarant twice today. Bring up Tyson Zaire, who rounded out to first base his last trip. Looking to see, Joe, if there are any other defensive changes for the Gremlins. I don't think so. Palazzo not playing the pole. He was about 8 feet off the bag. There he is again, still a long ways off the bag right now for the Gremlins over at first.
Yeah.
Upstairs. Had a notion to go after that pitch. You see Palazzo, how far he is off the bag.
Yeah, the only change on the paperwork was just the paperwork. Carl Golan pitched hit there for Mullins, and Mullins has re-entered the game.
Yeah, they did call that a strike, actually, with Zaire going around. So, down at their final out, the Shakespeare Falcons need a lot here to keep this one going. Will Fairman fouls this one straight back to the screen. Coming up, Joe, in just under an hour's time, the opening ceremony scheduled for 5 p.m. Coming up after that will be the Kitchener-Pullman Twins and the Durham Diamondbacks at the 6 p.m. game. And then at scheduled 8 o'clock start, Bear Bottom Lodge and University Ad Nacional Matanza from Buenos Aires in Argentina are international here this year.
I believe they've been up for a while. Didn't they play in the pre-tournament? There was a small little mini tournament here last week, and I believe
Called strike 3. That's now officially the ball game. We thought it was over earlier, but it is now. 10-0 for the Gremlins. So that's the final. Joe, a couple of statement games from number 1 and number 2 teams. But the tournament will get a little bit deeper for them starting tomorrow. Stay with us here in the ISC Network. 5 p.m. opening ceremonies. Kitchener-Hallman Twins, Bear Bottom Lodge coming up. For Joe Todd, Blair Sanford, thanks for joining us here on the ISC Network.